I'm delighted that today we're having this event in Tbilisi, Georgia. It once again stresses the importance of the topics and regional cooperation that are so crucial for the Caspian region, the common goals that we share and that protect our interests at the international agenda. Let me brief you with a few words about the energy sector in Georgia. I am absolutely positive you are very well informed. However, in the recent past, we have had developments and priorities and future plans which I want to share a few words. Primarily, the most important thing that happened recently is that in the history of Georgia, the country made a very significant step forward by signing the association agreement with the EU, which is a very clear message of our aspiration towards Europe, and respectively all the decisions, all the actions and steps taken forward in the near future will be oriented towards closer and more effective links with the EU and Europe at large. Energy, as His Excellency the Ambassador has mentioned, is a very important aspect of this cooperation, not only for Georgia as a regional hub, but also for the entire region. And you are very well aware that the Caspian region, with its huge potential of transport and energy, and on the background of shared interests, we have received a very clear political message that South Gas Corridor, which I believe will be extended through its great potential, will be for oil products, natural gas, power energy. All that will be a very complex power energy, and I would say diversified energy pipeline towards the European market, and this is an opportunity for every country concerned, for Azerbaijan, for Georgia, for Turkey, and indeed Georgia, together with these two countries in the format of strategic cooperation, will be a cornerstone for the absorption of this great potential of energy and supply of these resources to EU. I would say Shahdini's project, which was launched many years ago, gave a foundation to this long-term, very stable cooperation. The second phase is the foundation of the European engagement in this initiative, EU as a consumer of this commodity. Naturally, the volumes, no matter how large they are, they depend on the resources and availability of such resources, and they are limited. But this is the very first phase to make sure that in future we have more countries engaged and participating in this corridor, and they have this chance of development, chance for investments, chance for regional and international cooperation. We're mainly talking about countries that are within the Caspian region, and I believe that successful projects that we have so far, this gives a great incentive to these countries to join this club called Caspian Resource Energy Market Supply. As a movement, as a club. As for the energy security of Georgia and the region, I would say Georgia has nonetheless vulnerabilities compared to EU, and we should think about this issue in the same extent. The very first reason for that is that we are more dependent upon imported energy, and we have less resources to tackle with this problem ourselves. And so Georgia does not view this issue in an isolated manner. We have several directions within the complex issue of baskets which relate to the energy security. This is a recipe, I would say, three-component driven recipe. The first one is energy efficiency, which is a tool to manage the consumption. The second issue is domestic resources to be absorbed to a great extent, and the third component is to have better cooperation, better partnership with neighboring countries, which implies logically partnership, not only courtesy, but it implies transport, trade, transit, infrastructure development, and many other components. On the first component, on energy efficiency, let me say that we, at our level of development, we are viewing this issue as of high priority. We require resources and very well-shaped action plan. We are working on this issue in Georgia, and we are guided by the documents that are shaped within the EU partnership. The second issue, which is domestic energy resources to be absorbed at full extent to reduce the imports and dependence on imports. Resources are limited in this field as well because oil and gas is not available in Georgia for commercial purposes, and we're working on it, and after certain great efforts we may have this development, but we are working on the renewable energy, on hydro energy. And why? Let me say the reply to this. This is the first country in the world per capita with hydro resources available in the country, which allows us to do more to become a leader in the region in terms of renewable hydro energy, to become an exporter to the Western countries, to the neighboring countries, to have green energy produced in the country. This is the opportunity that we perceive as a potential for growth and development in Georgia. For this, we need stability, we need FDI, foreign direct investments, we need strong and support the close cooperation with our strong partners and neighbors. But every partner will look at the potential, at the resources of the country, lucrative nature of the deals, and guaranteed operational performance in the country. So as a result, I believe that Georgia is indeed an attractive, lucrative country, and we are demonstrating this for a number of years. We have a lot of foreign direct investors coming in. We have the construction and projects for hydropower plants, the HPPs, and this is to satisfy the demand to grow the export potential to Turkey and then to EU market. As for the regional cooperation, I would say that our countries in the region, which primarily imply the strategic cooperation between Azerbaijan, Turkey, and Georgia. This partnership and efficiency has been demonstrated very clearly, very well. We have significant projects implemented very successfully so far. None of these projects have ever had any threat or danger, and they are driven and taken to a next level of development. This is demonstrated by the second phase of Shah Deniz project. We are expecting that every country involved in this project will benefit a lot in terms of rate of investment, employment, economic growth, energy, accessibility and affordability of energy resources. This is the complex issue of benefit. This is the incentive for Georgia to be an active player within this project. We were lucky to have EU as a market of sales, as a partner, as an interested party, to have the Caspian resources developed, and EU perceives alternative energy corridor to be ours, and for this a lot of efforts have been made, and a lot of countries have made political support to this. Specific steps have been made forward, but I would say this is not sufficient. 500 billion euros market compared to 10 million in the 2019-2020. This is the ratio of the full potential of the market and energy consumption. This is primarily for Turkmenistan to be engaged in this project. to have their interest spark, so that this country makes diversified routes and markets, and logically, with this idea in mind, every country that is engaged in this chain will get its benefit. When I'm talking about the South Caspian corridor, let me say that Georgia is not an interesting market. However, we are a significant section within this corridor as a transit country. Our country demonstrates the importance of this and the benefit of this to be shared by every citizen of our country, and this will be highly mobilized to support the project. A couple of words about the EU cooperation and deepened cooperation with the European Union. It is very clear that they are our limelight and lighthouse for the development of Georgia. We have an action plan developed, which has all the government agencies engaged to successfully replicate and generalize this statement throughout the country. This will be a confirmation of our agenda, our aspiration to share the European values, and respectively, we are a reformer country, and we are looking forward towards the results that we would wish ourselves. In terms of energy, the first phase that we have to go through is to become a member of Energy Community of Europe. That was a format. This energy union is for the associated countries. This so-called energy regulated space, which is different from EU agenda. This is reflected in the Charter of Energy Charter, but this is an adapted package of legislation for those countries that are not yet members of the EU, but potentially they are viewed as future partners after certain steps are made. Compared to Georgia, all the other countries have common borders with the EU, and they have physically engaged in trans-border trade and have deeper cooperation with the EU. In Georgia, we have a different case. Georgia is relatively away from the EU. We are not having a common border, and the link of EU with other countries in terms of infrastructure implies non-member EU countries like Turkey, which is making serious steps forward to make sure that energy becomes their core aspect of network, and respectively, Georgia will have an opportunity to be part of this network. In terms of infrastructure, we are oriented at this opportunity to be absorbed, and the investment action plan for development that we have developed at the Ministry of Energy to develop the infrastructure is implying the standards to be introduced to become a fully fledged player at the European energy market. I believe that the first goals will be met in the nearest future that are set in the association agreement on energy, i.e. Georgia will become a fully fledged member of the Energy Union, which will make the conditions, the environment, market environment more competitive. Georgia requires more FDI, more stability, and great steps forward towards economic growth. Otherwise, we will have a disaster situation if our economic growth rate drops. We need to have higher than average, higher than others. I would wish us to have a very successful day-to-day. Organizers stressed the importance of networking at this conference. I wish you great success. I wish you great ideas to be materialized at this meeting, because we have a lot of potential, a lot of opportunities, and I believe this mutual interest should be interpreted into a number of interesting regional and international projects to make sure that the region says its word in the global the agenda, and I believe that these local efforts within this format will be an example to others, because it will drive us to the very tangible results. I wish you all the success. I'm delighted once again to have this opportunity to address you at the Caspian Energy Forum, to brief you about the recent developments at the Ministry of Energy in Georgia. I hope that we'll have a very successful cooperation. We are open to this cooperation, and naturally this success will bring more benefit to every person here. I thank the organizers. I wish you all the success. Thank you.